welcome back to another podcast episode, Fight School. Your pilot here speaking, and I know TSA has been terrible. So I thank you for working with me and my crew as we prepare for this flight. And today is another difficult topic for me. Well, it's not so much difficult now, but it was very difficult in the past version of myself. And that's the topic today. And that today's topic is that was backwards, but today's topic is trying again slash dealing with failure. So I don't know if you saw my story, but the second clip is a video game, and the character fails many times. And I was working with somebody one day, and it kind of came up like we want to be perfect at everything that we do, and that shouldn't be the case. Just like any video game, you have to fail before you get good at it, before you progress, before you get to the next level. And we can apply that in life. We can apply the things that we've learned in previous levels to help us get further in another level. So you can use that in any aspect in life. Maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's something in school you're trying to get better at, maybe it's a sport, maybe it's studying for something. And we should reframe the way we think about failing or messing up. And there's many ways you can approach it if you have the right perspective. So, too many times we are afraid to try again. The reasons that we don't may be because we're afraid of failing or we're afraid of getting hurt. I'm both. That is me. I am that person. And it has delayed me from so many things that I could have experienced. And if I would have took the time to sit in those losses or those lessons, because sometimes they're not even losses, they're just lessons. And as I've stated before, are you going to take the lesson? Or are you just going to dwell in the fact that you didn't do it right the first time, the second time? And many times, it's something that we haven't done before, or something we didn't do with great intentions, and we didn't hit the mark that we wanted to. So we just say, I'm never going to do it again. So we always expect to do things right the first time, and that prevents us from trying again. You think that you have to be perfect, and guess what? You're not. You're not perfect. You're never going to be. You was never meant to be. You weren't built to be perfect. And in this society where we see the best versions of people are the things that they want to show us, their accomplishments, which are things to be proud of. But I think some of us are getting better at it, but a lot of people don't show the bad times. They don't show the times where it didn't go the way they wanted to, or they don't show the thing that they tried before that didn't work that directed them to the thing that does work for them now. Me personally, I can't go through everything, but there's many things that I didn't do good at that got me to where I'm at today. That I feel like part of my career is part of my purpose, which is helping people and talking to them as I'm their therapist. And if I would have kept the mind frame that I'm never going to try again, I never would have got here. Because after high school, I told myself I'm not going to college. I didn't think I was smart enough, so on and so forth. And if I would have stayed with that thought, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Even after I got my bachelor's, I said I'm not going back. If I would have stayed there, I never would have got where I was at. And on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, I had to learn to learn the lesson, so I don't make the same mistake again. And I would sit in the shame because I messed up. And sometimes I messed up because I knew what I was doing was wrong, and sometimes I messed up because it was my first time doing something, and I was ashamed that I didn't do it right. Sometimes our expectations of ourselves is fascinatingly wrong. Why would you think you're going to do something right the first time? Why would you think that something that you've never done before is supposed to go smoothly? And sometimes we we could plan to the T and it still doesn't go our way. So, are you man enough? Are you woman enough to humble yourself to know, hey, I'm going to go here with my best intentions, with my best effort, and looking to learn instead of looking to pass or looking to avoid failing. When you could go approach something with the mindset, hey, I'm going to come to this season, I'm going to go to this job, I'm going to go to this relationship, I'm going to go into this field looking to learn instead of looking to present as if I've done this before. And I think there's some vulnerability in that. There's some vulnerability in saying, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to submit myself to the mission so I can learn and gather everything that I can so I can be the best version of myself in this area. We're so busy pretending that we can't even be our authentic selves. And if we could be our authentic selves, then we could grasp everything that is being presented to us. So stop trying to be perfect. You was never called to be. You was never meant to be. Sometimes failure is an opportunity to learn, as I stated before. And sometimes you're going to continue to learn that lesson until you learn, because life is going to present that to you every single time. And sometimes it'll stop presenting itself to you because you've just removed yourself from the scenario. And now you've done yourself a disservice. And now you set yourself short. And now you're choosing to settle because you're too afraid to put yourself back out there again. As I stated before, too many times we fail and we don't learn a lesson. Because it hurt or it didn't feel good, we move on. And instead of sitting in the disappointment or the frustration, we ignore it or we look for quick fixes to make us feel better. So if we would teach ourselves to sit in our disappointment and our frustrations, maybe you can extend your bandwidth. Maybe you can extend your elasticity. Because you're meant to bend and not break. And sometimes we do break. You're human. But if you're not bending, then you're not growing. You're too busy trying to be strong and withhold and have everything in your control that you're not willing to bend. And if that means you're not willing to bend, that means you're not flexible. So that means you're not compromising. That means you're not seeing other perspectives. That means you're not willing to be taught. You're so strong that no one can get to you. Yeah, you're so strong that no one's willing to get to you, or they're tired of trying to help you out, so they just take their hands away. And now you're frustrated. When you could try again with a new perspective. You're not meant to be perfect. Look forward to failing because it's an opportunity to learn and pivot. So, a quick personal story for me is that I was so hell-bent on not being embarrassed that I wouldn't try anything. And not only being embarrassed, but just failing. Because I had insecurities thinking I was stupid, thinking I wasn't good enough. And as I stated before, I probably missed out on things. I missed out on relationships that really could have benefited me. I missed out on new experiences because I didn't see myself in a highlight. I missed myself out in certain communities because I didn't want to humble myself and learn. And to God be the glory that, He transformed me. But yeah, and in that retrospect, like, He redeems. But yeah, if we look at David, like they say he's a man after God's own heart, and he fell. he fell multiple times, but he kept getting back up. He kept trying again. He would say his sorries, he would say his forgivenesses, and he would get back up. because you're not going to fulfill your purpose if you stay down. I have a title for another thing, rumble, young man, rumble. But we have to get back up. You have to try again. You don't have to. Who am I to tell you what to do? But it's important that you get back up, because your purpose isn't on the floor. Your purpose is on the move. So if you're deciding to sit still and allow life to pass you by, life is going to pass you by. But there's so much more out there for you if you actually lean in to teaching and learning and to adjusting and to pivoting. So many times we're trying to be so comfortable with being still, and I'm guilty. I'm so guilty. We're trying to be so comfortable with being still that we don't make moves. And it's not always about the big moves, it's about the small stuff. Hey, you feel like physically you should be doing more for your body. You can tell that, you're feeling lazy and lethargic, but you just want to go for a walk. It's not the big things. No one's asked you to run a 5K and work out like when you was in high school. But if somebody was like, hey, why don't you walk? I'm like, no, I ain't got time for that. But then it's gonna make time for you one way or the other. So either you're gonna be walking on the track or you're gonna be walking into the hospital. So pick your battle. Live to learn and learn to live. That was pretty good. And I will use that for myself. I want to learn so I can live. And I want to live to learn. Because there's so much that I don't know. And I think there's beauty in that when you realize, I don't know. I don't have to have all the answers. And now this is for people that believe, like, for me in my relationship with God, I don't have to have all the answers. I was so used to trying to figure things out. I was so used to being in control. And it's stressful, man. It is so stressful being in control. And I'm so glad I finally learned that lesson. I don't have to be. There's somebody that knows more than me. And not even in the spiritual sense. Definitely in the spiritual sense. But, hey, there's people in my community that know more than me. So I can lean on my brother. I can lean on my sister. I can lean on a family member. I can humble myself to ask a stranger that I know knows the information and ask, are they willing to teach me? We're so busy trying to be stoic that we can't humble ourselves and submit to things that we have no knowledge of. Or we're so strong that we're willing to fail more times than we need to when we could learn a lesson once or twice. Or maybe there's no lesson to learn if you would just submit to somebody that knows more. Because you don't have to have all the answers. So, as we land this plane, I hope that you take with you that it doesn't have to all be in your control. And hey, I was talking to somebody earlier today, like, learn the lesson the first time so you don't have to keep repeating it. Learn the lesson the first time so you can move forward. You're going to mess up. You're not perfect. You were never meant to be. And there's grace for you. There's grace for those seasons where you're not getting it right. There's grace for you in those seasons where I don't really understand what's going on, and I'm trying the best with what I got. But you don't have to try the best with what you got because you don't have all the answers. As I stated before, you got here based off what you know. That could be good or bad. But you don't know everything, so seek assistance. Because, you deserve to try again. Whatever you failed at, you deserve a better version of that if you're willing to learn the lesson. So, with all that being said, thank you for taking this flight with me. Bear with TSA. Hopefully they can get some finances soon whenever the government gets some type of agreement going on. Keep God first. Safe travels. See you guys on the next one.